not getting emotionally attached, which can happen for me very quickly. We are not going to stick around just to see somebody's potential. Oh, we've been talking for like a month. You haven't been to the gym one time. Well, it can get your attention. Yeah, for sure. It got my attention. Cool. I am a woman, so I obviously am gonna be emotional, right? And that's not an excuse to be emotional. Body matcha. When he does bring you a man and that man is godly, you're not gonna know what to do with him. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna Nicole. If you're new here, if you're not new here, welcome back. So in today's video, we are going to talk about, as you guys can see by the title, how God changed my dating standards, and I'm gonna get into detail about where I'm at with that. So if you guys are interested, just keep on watching. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the video. All right, so first, I would like to say, before I had these standards, I would kind of just go off of attraction and, how they make me feel in the moment, which was like a thing for me, which is not, good. And after my last breakup, my last heartbreak, which really like broke me because I was with that person for 3 years, I would say that it definitely allowed me to get closer to God, like in that moment, which I would say like after I kind of got through it, it's not that I like completely stopped, associating myself with God or anything, but I definitely wasn't reading the Bible as much as I should. I still go to church every Sunday. That's like a non-negotiable for me, but I still go to my community group. But as far as reading the Bible like throughout the week, that's like a challenge for me. I'm trying to, because for one, I have 2 jobs, and this is not an excuse or like anything like that, but I do have 2 jobs. I do go to the gym immediately after. I could, bring in that time, which is what I'm working on, to do it when I get home. So that's something that I'm working on. But I did realize that my standards weren't actually high enough. Like my standards were literally solely off like looks, how you treat me initially, which was the issue. Because a lot of people will have like a little mask on in the beginning, maybe 3-6 months. And then the mask will slowly come down a little bit. God completely changed like what I look for in a man. And like you could look amazing. You could body build, body tea, body matcha. You could look all that and you don't know the Lord. You don't go to church. We can't talk at all. We can't. We could be friends and I could, bring you on to the Lord, but not even that. Like, I'm really not looking for male friends, to be honest, but God completely shifted my mind on, what I want in a relationship and marriage. Like, I want to be married. I want kids. I want a family, but there's like a certain vision that I have and I know is from God because it's godly. So, and that's the wave I'm on right now. So I would say my number one point is that your standards are not about being picky. Okay. So people often say like women ask for too much, women want this, women want that. But there's a difference between being like unrealistic and then like having unrealistic expectations and biblical standards. So currently I want a man that, a traditional man, does everything, not everything, but you get the point. But follows God, like is letting God lead him. That's what I'm looking for. And like you can still have grace, but have boundaries in the same, sentence. So like for me, previously, I would give grace, and have 0 boundaries. Like I would say I have these boundaries, but then I would go and let them pass my boundaries. So previously, my boundary, obviously for most people, don't step out in a relationship. I gave grace and ignored my boundary. I gave grace. I said, okay, cool, not cool, but you know, whatever, you did what you did, okay, we're gonna move on. I forgive you. I will give you grace. I'll move on from this. We can move on, but you have to put in your part. And that's where I messed up. But so I was giving grace and having zero boundaries. I was like, okay, you did this, like I forgive you, let's work through it, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, the other person is not even on that type of timing. You feel me? So just, you can give grace, but you gotta have your boundaries. So I'm gonna say, okay, cool, you did what you did. I forgive you, but we can't be together no more. There's my boundary. That's it. Bye. Like, that's the type of timing I am now on. So for example, I don't think that having standards means you're like better than anybody, or like you can't put up with this, a whole list of things, and now you're better than that person because you go to church, you pray to God, you do this, you do that. No. I think that standards is just simply knowing what God has called you to accept. Obviously, there's standards in the Bible as well. Like, there's like, don't be unequally yoked and like the whole nine. But it's like, there are things that obviously a man of God is going to have versus a man who is not of God. So those standards are kind of just there if you choose a man of God, which is wonderful. So I'm going to read scripture. Proverbs 4 verse 23. I actually think we did this. Today's Sunday, by the way, and I'm pretty sure we did this one in church today. Oh no, we didn't. Okay, so Proverbs 4 verse 3, or verse 23, excuse me, says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So basically, God is telling us our hearts influence our thoughts, decisions, emotions, actions. We guard our heart. Like, guarding your heart doesn't mean building walls or refusing to love people. It means being wise about who you allow close enough to influence your life. So I don't know if y'all ever heard, but what is it? Birds of a feather flock together, or something like that. But y'all get it. So like, you don't want to associate yourself with people that you know are just not godly, like, at all. And it's okay. Like, obviously everybody sins, everybody has their flaws, like, but don't associate yourself with somebody who they're gonna end up influencing you way more than you're influencing them. For me, guarding my heart would mean not to ignore red flags, like, whatsoever. And this is something that I've done. Like, I'm currently doing it. So I am like in the dating field or whatever, right? And there are and have been a few people who immediately, like, for example, one person maybe doesn't go to church, maybe doesn't believe in God, maybe doesn't follow God just because of church hurt or whatever it may be. That is something that I know for me is a red flag. I'm not going to, and it's okay that's your preference, that's what you do, but I cannot marry or date somebody who isn't on the same, like, wavelength. Guarding my heart means not ignoring red flags, not getting emotionally attached, which can happen for me very quickly. So that's why from jump, I'm asking all the questions that I need to know off rip. So that way there is no emotional attachment. And I can easily be like, okay, cool, this person is not for me, and move on. And it helps because now I can do this before I've seen your character. And some people will put on a mask, like I said in the beginning. Like, some people will pretend like they're this certain person and they're really not. They will pretend like, oh, I'm just the sweetest person, I'm so kind to everybody in the world, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, 3 months down the line, they are cussing out the waiter, or they're rude to random people on the street, or they're making fun of random people. Like, that type of stuff, I don't like that. Like, don't do that. So my second point, I used to mistake potential for character. Potential doesn't mean consistency, right? So there are things that this person may say they want to do or may say that they have or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. You're going to eventually do this. So let me stick around and see if blah, blah. No, not doing it no more. We are not going to stick around just to see somebody's potential. No, don't do it. Also, chemistry doesn't equal compatibility. We could have chemistry. I could think you're cute, you could think I'm cute, we could be vibing, and then we just aren't compatible. Like, we're just like, there's certain things that like you're doing that I'm not doing, that I don't agree with, that you agree with, that I like. No, the compatibility part is very important, and that was something that I struggled with in my previous relationship. I would say that this person would say that we weren't compatible, and I'm like, what do you mean we're not compatible? What do you mean? And it's like after the fact, I did see how we are not compatible, like at all. I won't say at all, because there were certain aspects that's like, okay, cool, like we are the same, we're on the same road. But then there's other aspects where I just feel like you're doing things that I don't agree with, and yeah, maybe we aren't compatible. But I hated that saying. I hated that saying, and I currently agree with it. I currently see what that person was saying, and yeah, I don't think that we were compatible at all. Attraction doesn't equal spiritual maturity. I realized that I was dating somebody for who they could become instead of paying attention to who they consistently were, right? So previous, like the people that I've like dated since my last breakup, right? I'm gaining a whole new understanding of dating. I'm gaining a whole new understanding of what I want in a person. I used to pay attention to what they were saying they would do, and blah, 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 but I wasn't paying attention to who they were showing me. Like, this person would say, oh, I believe in God, I do this, I do that. Or for example, someone would be like, oh, I go to the gym. By the way, I do want somebody who's in the gym, because I'm in the gym every day except for Sunday. I do want somebody on that same wavelength as me at least 3-4 times. But so when I met this person, they told me initially, oh, I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. Okay, cool. Time is going on. We've been talking for like a month. You haven't been to the gym 1 time. What do you mean you go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week? No, you don't. So it's like, this person was painting a picture like, oh, I'm strong, I'm this, I'm that, I go to the gym, I lift, ooh. No, you don't. You actually don't. And that's okay, but just don't tell me that. And that now I'm painting a picture in my head of what you might potentially look like, or what our relationship will look like. Oh, we can go to the gym together, we can do this, we can do that. No, we cannot, because you don't even do it. So don't take what somebody's telling you when you can see with your own eyes what they're doing. Point blank, period. Point 3. Peace became more important than butterflies, okay? You can give me all the butterflies in the world, but if you are not bringing me peace and making me feel like soft and feminine and like I could just chill, Real peace can come from feeling safe, which is what I was saying. Like, I would love to be around my man who just makes me feel calm and like there's no chaos in the world. I don't gotta think about nothing. I could just chill, and you don't have to question where you stand, like, at all. Like, you know, this is my person. I'm their person. I'm their person. They're my person. I don't have to worry about nothing. I don't have to worry about cheating. I don't have to worry about none of that, because this person is for me. They're not worried about what anybody else got going on but us and God. So I don't want any more mixed emotions. I don't want any more, mixed signals, confusion. I want peace. So if I'm talking to somebody and they come off like, oh, yeah, I don't know where I really stand. Like, I don't know what I want. I don't know if I want kids. I don't know if I want to be married. I don't know. If you don't know, see your way out. See your way out. I don't want no parts. I want peace. I want clarity. I want understanding. I want The whole nine. So 1 Corinthians 14 verse 33, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. Right? So if this person is confusing you, if this person is making you feel like, I don't know if they really like me, I don't blah blah blah. If you don't know, it's a no. Okay? If you don't know, see your way out and move on. From jump though, like you gotta do it initially, because if you wait it out, and that was my issue. That was my issue in my previous, like when I was with that person for 3 years, that was my issue. I waited it out. I believed like, oh, it won't be none of that. I'm confused. I'm like, are you sure you like me? Are you sure you want this? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? If you have to question it that many times, I promise that person is not for you. I promise you. If you have any inkling, if you have any tiny doubt this big, they're not for you. They are not for you. You should have zero feelings like that. Like none. The meaning of 1 Corinthians 14 verse 33. So Paul is teaching about orderly worship in the church, right? More broadly, the verse is reflecting God's character. So God brings peace and order rather than chaos and disorder. While relationships can naturally involve like uncertainty sometimes, or ongoing confusion caused by poor communication or manipulation or mixed messages, that isn't something to celebrate as God's plan. Like that's not God's plan. I promise you. Like if there is any type of confusion or manipulation or mixed signals, it's not from God. It's not from God at all. Oh, they're a manly guy. They're a manly guy. They're a godly man. They go to church. They pray. They read their Bible. But they're telling you that they're at their boy's house, but they're really with another girl. No, they are not. That is not from God. I promise. Not from God. A healthy relationship should move toward honesty, clarity, and peace. That's it. Not constant like guessing games. Like, do you like me? Do you love me? Are you sure you want this? Are you sure you love me? No. That is draining. Stop. It's gonna be like a science experiment. It is what it is. So in Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So Jesus is teaching his followers not to be consumed by worry over life's needs. Instead, you should make God and his kingdom their first priority, or your first priority. Trust him to provide what you truly need. If you tell him what you want in a man, what you desire in a husband, as long as it's following what he wants or what God is saying a godly man has, I don't see God ignoring that. He's going to bring you that godly man. Now, if you're asking God just to bring you a man and you don't have no standards or nothing, when he does bring you a man and that man is godly, you're not gonna know what to do with him. I used to spend so much time like wondering when I meet my husband, and now I'm just trying to focus on knowing God deeper and trusting that he knows what's best for me and what's best for my life, and then just knowing that his timing is better than mine. If it was up to me, I would have been married when I was 25. When I was 25, I was still in school, right? And it could have been an issue. It could have been, whatever. Whatever God has for me is what God has for me. I don't know. I'm currently 28, about to be 29, still single, still trying to, get myself together. And God knows when I'll be ready. That's all I can really say on that. Like, I'm not going to, force anything or try to make it like I need this person today. Although I would like a family, I would like to be married, but it's all under God's timing. Like, it's not my choice, it's God's. And that once you get to that understanding and to that mindset, you really you're not in a rush. Not that you don't care, but you're not going to like push the agenda so much to the point where it's like taking over your mind. Because for me, it is something I think about every day, and it is something that I would say like I think about a lot, and I'm trying my best not to make it like an idol, because I know that God will have a person for me. If it's on your heart to want that, God most likely has that for you. And I always felt like if it's a godly thought, if it's a godly feeling, if it's a godly, thing, it's obviously not from the devil. It's obviously something that God put on your heart, and he will give it to you eventually. You just have to do what you're supposed to do to get there, which in this case would be to focus on yourself and to focus on God and to focus on the things that he has already given you. Steward those things, take care of those things. Like, for example, I have an apartment. I'm not letting my apartment go like haywire. I'm not letting everything just everywhere, not taking care of nothing. No, take care of it, steward it. Make sure that what he gave you right now, you could take care of. Because once he sees that you could take care of this, okay, you can take care of this apartment. Let's see, I'm sure you could take care of this house that I'm about to get you now, because you could take care of the apartment. If you could take care of, like, for example, and I don't know, like, if this is really a good example, but I work with kids. And in my head, like, I've always said I wanted like 5 kids. In my head, if I could take care of these kids, I could take care of my own kids. So I feel like steward this, and God will give you the next big thing that you want, right? Seeking God first, you'll stop idolizing relationships. So make sure that you put God first, make sure that you take care of what he has given you, and you'll be straight. So point 5 is character became more attractive than charm. Like, I care so much about character now, it's insane. If you are making fun of somebody, if you're like a mean person, I don't want nothing to do with you. And this was something that, like, I was talking to somebody who was like this, and I just could not. Like, it was such a turn off. The person I was dating was like kind of like a mean person, and I just could not. Like, I don't like that. I don't want no parts of you being mean, and now I'm associated with you, and like, I don't like that. If you're going to be a mean person, don't talk to me. You need to talk to God, because you're not a nice person. Like, I genuinely care about other people, that when you are mean to other people, like people you don't even know, you're making fun of somebody's weight, you're making fun of this, you're making fun of that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want nothing to do with that. I'm not about to sit here and kiki and all that with you, and you sitting here making fun of somebody. Absolutely not. I'm not doing it. How they speak to strangers. Number 1. How they speak to strangers, how they talk about strangers, how they treat strangers. Like, you ever heard that stranger could have been an angel and you sitting here being rude to them? How somebody handles anger, how he treats his family, whether he keeps his word. Like, this number 5 is speaking to me. This point is speaking to me so much. Like, this was something I dealt with literally a few months ago. And whether he honors God privately, the charm, the cuteness, the being nice to you only, it can get your attention. Yeah, for sure. It got my attention. Cool. You got my attention. You think I'm this, you think I'm that, you like adore me, you're like obsessed with me. I love that. I love that for me. But at the same time, your character determines whether somebody can lead your family. If he can't be nice to strangers, he can't handle anger the right way, he treats his own personal family terribly. Mind you, I never really dealt with somebody treating their family bad, but that's still something that I don't want to see. Whether he keeps his word and whether he honors God privately. All of that can determine if you can lead a family. So if that person does not possess any of those things, for me, it's a no. And yes, some of those things can be like worked on or whatever, but at the same time, your character is your character. It takes a while to, create a new habit. It takes a while to change yourself. Like, most people don't change. And if they do, they put in a lot of work. My next point, I don't just want like a boyfriend. I want somebody who is preparing for marriage. Like, I want somebody who wants to date me to know if this is the person they want to marry. I don't want to just be dating. I don't want to just be your girlfriend forever. I want to move forward. So dating intentionally is like my biggest thing. If you are not dating me to marry me, what are we really doing? Looking for somebody who's growing spiritually as well, and somebody who can communicate, and also somebody who is willing to lead. So Ephesians 5:25 says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Paul points husbands to Jesus as the model for marriage. Mind you, Paul was not married. Christ's love for the church is sacrificial, faithful, and self-giving. It's not self-centered. It's a high calling that no one fulfills perfectly, but it's the direction Christian husbands are called to grow toward. So this verse changed how I thought about love, right? I've heard this verse a lot of times growing up and while I was in church or whatever. I'm not looking for a perfect man, because nobody on this earth is perfect. But I do want somebody who's growing into the kind of man who loves with humility, who loves sacrificially, and who can commit. So all of that is very important to me. This verse set a very high standard for sacrificial love and what I'm looking for and what I want somebody to be growing toward, right? My next point and my last point is God also raised my standards for myself. So this is really important because it keeps the focus on my growth, right? Not just what I'm expecting from somebody else. Because I have a lot of things that I need to work on as well. I'm not a perfect human. And when I say that, I'm talking about in my relationship with God. I will say when I'm dating somebody, I'm a lover girl, so I love super hard. I'm not a mean person. I feel like I low-key do everything, right? There could be things that I could work on, but I personally wouldn't know unless I was in a relationship. But as far as spiritually and all that, I do know all of those things that I have to work on with God, right? And who I am and who I'm becoming. So becoming emotionally mature, that is definitely something that I'm working on. But so my whole thing with being emotionally mature is that some people have different definitions of that. And so for me, it's somebody I want a man who is emotionally mature, who can understand oh, she's upset because of this, and actually understands why I'm upset. Some people see emotionally mature as you don't cry, you don't do this, you emotionally can separate emotions and what is the word that most men use? And logic, right? I am a woman, so I obviously am gonna be emotional, right? And that's not an excuse to be emotional. I'm emotional. I have hormones, I have all of this stuff a man does not have, right? So obviously this is how God made us. I'm emotional, you're logical. And that's what it is. But I've dated men who want me to be logical and not emotional. If you hurt my feelings, I'm going to cry. I'm gonna be upset. What are we talking about? I'm not gonna be oh, you're right, I shouldn't. No. If you're saying something that's rude or mean or whatever, emotions are going to happen. And I just think that some people have different definitions of what emotionally mature is. So I'm gonna give you the definition. Emotionally mature is the ability to understand, manage, and communicate your emotions in a healthy, God-honoring way, while also considering the feelings of others. So when I would get upset in my previous relationship, it was the end of the world for that person. Basically I shouldn't be crying, right? That's not being emotional. This person would say, all right, I'm trying to do the best example. This person, okay, I'm the person, right? I'm gonna say I'm emotionally mature because I don't cry over stuff. I'm emotionally immature because I don't cry. No. Being emotionally mature is taking care of the person and knowing when emotions are valid. And honestly, all emotions are valid. How are you going to tell my brain how to feel? Right? So it It doesn't mean never getting upset is what I'm basically stemming at, right? It means responding with wisdom instead of reacting impulsively. If I'm coming to you and telling you that something is bothering me, and now I'm getting a little teary-eyed and I'm starting to feel away, yes, it's because I have emotions and I should be able to feel that. Now you, on the other hand, to be emotionally mature, you're gonna take care of that. And you're not going to be rude about it. You're not gonna tell me to stop crying. You're not gonna do none of that because you actually genuinely care. And you're gonna have a godly response. That is emotional maturity. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Next. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get the charger before this camera dies. Okay, hopefully it doesn't die. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say I plugged it in, but it's like not charging. Okay, so healing from past hurt is also something that I am on to improve myself, or how God raised my standards or whatever. So healing from my past hurt, improving communication, which I feel like I've always been good at communicating. Like, I want to talk most of the day anyway. So I do really good with that. Spending time with God, that is something that I am also working on. And then lastly, being the type of woman that you're praying for your future husband is looking for. So if you know what a godly woman is, you need to be her if you want a godly man. Because I'm sure a godly man is looking for a godly woman, right? He's not just looking for anybody. So you do want to make sure that you're doing all that. So God wasn't just changing the men I wanted, he was also changing me and my heart and like how I see different things. So Psalm 51:10, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. So this is part of King David's prayer after he repented of his sin. Instead of only asking God to change his circumstances, he asked God to change him from the inside out, which is what I want for myself. One of the biggest lessons that God has taught me is that while praying for the right man, he was also working on my own heart. I don't just want God to just send me anybody. Like, I don't want him to just send me somebody because I want a husband or because I want to be married or because I want a family. I don't want him to just send me somebody. I want him to keep transforming me into the woman that he's calling me to be, right? If you are single right now, which you're like me, twin. But if you are single, like, I know that waiting is super hard because I'm in the same boat, right? I'm in the same boat. I don't want to wait. Sorry, it's falling. I don't want to wait. I want my man. I want my man. I want my man. But I've learned that settling is not going to speed God's timing up, right? I actually saw a post the other day, and I might say the words a little bit different, but it basically was saying along those same lines, like, don't settle for something just because you think that God is not going to bring you what you want. Don't just be like,
okay, cool, this boy came on, he likes me. He doesn't go to church. He doesn't really have, like, some of the standards or some of the things that I want in a man, but he's here, so I'm 28, might as well.
No, absolutely not. I know it's hard. Like, I know it's hard, but don't settle and don't think that settling is going to speed up the timing. Because what it actually is going to do is push back the timing. You're going to waste time on this person just because he's here and he came and he's cute. He's tall, he's handsome, he has money. You're going to waste time because that's not the person God had for you. So now you're in this relationship dilly-dallying for, I don't know, a year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Then it doesn't work out. Now you're back to square one. Now you gotta wait. Now you're single again. Now you're going through hurt again. Just don't do that to yourself, right? Make sure that the person that you are with is from God. Don't just settle. I'd rather wait for what God has than to rush into something he never asked for me to carry. So while I'm praying for my future husband, I'm also praying that God continues to shape me into the woman that he's called me to be. I know, like, deep down, the things that I want to do, like, with my own life, that I know that if I was to be married right now, or if I was to find my husband today, I probably wouldn't be able to continue, or, I mean, I'll figure out a way, trust me, but there's like certain things that I probably would have to like, you know, step around or like figure out how to do it differently, because I'm now in a relationship where I have to be with that person, or I have to do this for that person, or whatever it may be. So God has you in a certain season that he has you in for a reason. So don't like try to manipulate that. Don't try to change the narrative. God's narrative is always going to come back to where it's supposed to be. And that just is what it is. So I do have a question for you guys, right? And I want you guys to answer it in the comments if you've even made it this far. This video is very long. So what is one dating standard that God has shown you not to compromise on, right? So, and I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. For me, one dating standard that God showed me not to compromise on is the fact of them believing in God and having a relationship with God. That is something I ask immediately. I need to know, do you have a relationship with God? And mind you, some people will say, oh, I have a relationship with him, but really they don't. So that will be up to you to make sure that you see, do they really? And then that's where the whole character and all that comes into play. Because if somebody really does have a relationship with God, their character is going to show it. It's not going to really be a question. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my little TED Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I'm deciding to do a series, right? Where I just talk about, you know, things of God and, you know, relationships, faith, healing, all of that. Christian dating, which is what this one is. So this series is going to be called Kingdom Conversations, and I'm excited for this. This is something that, like, it kind of just happened. Like I told you guys in my previous video, like, I didn't really know what my direction of my channel was going to be. I still will be doing vlogs. I still will, you know, like, incorporate that. But I do want to, like, I have this platform and I have 1,080 subscribers. Like, I have 1,000 people, almost 1,100 people following me. So I feel like, what good am I if I'm not trying to bring y'all closer to God? Or if I'm not bringing God into the mix? Like, who do I think I am? So no. So we're definitely going to be doing this. So it's going to be called Kingdom Conversations. This is episode 1. And I just really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.